All right. What's going on, everybody? Wilson here, your spiritual hype man, my own spiritual hype man. Trying to find my own spiritual hypeness, actually, these last couple of days. And I guess I figured out, or I thought, what better way to start this podcast. One, being consistent with it, because I feel like I'm either very hyper focused or I'm sometimes all over the place. You know what I mean? And I think it's just part of, I guess, just part of who I am. And some people share the same tendencies. So I think this would be a good first one. My goal is to stay consistent and do one of these at least for the next 365 days. So that's my goal. These last couple of days, I've felt not like myself. I would say not like what most people would consider Wilson, who I am. Don't mind the background noise. I'm just eating some gummy lifesavers. But for most people, even like today, I was out with BNI, which is a business networking group that I attend when it comes to like video production and stuff like that. And I just wasn't feeling it. Like I wasn't feeling myself in terms of just being the happy-go-lucky, always positive. And it came from, I know where it's stemming from. It's stemming from my own thoughts of not being as successful as I was last year. And I think most of it is financially based, monetary value. We had a great year last year. This year, we have to do it again. And so last year was like our best year, right? My best year financially ever in like my entire life. For most people, like, and again, everyone's got their stories. So like my story is like, we didn't come from like great wealth or rich or anything like that. It was just, for the most part, the initial part of my life, there was a lot of struggle, financial illiteracy, shit like that between my parents. And so like my driver has always been make money, gotta make money. I gotta make $1 million, gotta figure it out. Last year we did all right. I didn't hit $1 million. We did 6 figures, which was great. Felt good. But then this year, halfway through the year, it's like, I know like we're behind, right? So to go like 35 years, I don't want to say 35, like 30 years, I guess, of my life trying to fucking hit $1 million and finally hit some sort of somewhat of a little substantial. It's not even a lot like what we hit, right? Like 6 figures is not even a lot anymore. So to hit that, and then not be there today, right? Like not be there today and have the same stressor. So I feel like for 30 years I tried to get it, to hit it, to have some sort of financial fucking success. And I hit it, and then now I'm back to like feeling a certain way. Obviously there's things that I would do better, which is good because I've had the experience in terms of like, hiring and firing, et cetera, like allocation of funds, all this other stuff. But, that's something that I know in the future. And again, I know that like things will become better because it ebbs and flows. It's just been very, very tough to get out of this mental, this mental fucking state that I'm in. And every little thing just like adds to it. Like just other like, life situations, I would say. So it's kind of where I'm at right now, which is, I felt like this would be a good one, a good first one to put out, because I've recorded before. Most people that actually know me are like, man, you're always so fucking positive. It seems like, nothing really bothers you, and you're just like super fucking zen. I'm like, yeah, like if you would only know, So I feel like sharing that. I feel like sharing that today. Like the last couple of days, like I just it's been tough. It's been tough to get out of this fucking mental thing. Now, a couple of things that I'm understanding, like that I have the knowledge. I need to exercise it, right? And this is where the nothing changes stuff comes in, right? It's like you have the knowledge, and in certain situations, you have to apply the knowledge and then create these actions or decide to take actions or, mental, whether mental, right? It's the mental thought and then the physical action, or even decision, right? Because that's like a mental decision or mental action. But to practice the things that you know will get you out of these situations. So, for example, earlier on in my career as a human being or as an adult, there were lots of situations that I would cyclical that I would keep repeating within my life pattern, right? While I was living it, and those were drinking a lot, a lot of drinking, obviously smoking a lot. Like I would smoke a lot of weed, like a lot of it, and then also just on top of that, alcohol, and then always being upset or having anger, right? I don't say anger issues because they were just like at the moment they were just angry. I was angry about a lot of things, right? And I think a lot of it obviously stemmed from like childhood and shit like that. Like who hasn't, right? Like everything stems from childhood, like your early influences, and that's one thing that with Nothing Changes, like or the concept of Nothing Changes is understanding that like your influences. Affect your thoughts. Those thoughts then affect your actions. Those actions are decisions, and then those decisions create an outcome. Okay? And so I know these things, right? Like I know these things. And yet this week, these last couple of days, and it's been a couple weeks actually, but because they've been like 2-3 days where I'm like, oh man, I don't fucking feel like it. This is crazy. I can't believe it. And then I'm like back to normal, right? But this last week has been a pretty fucking hectic mental chess game of continuous everyday, feeling like not good enough, not successful, it's just not me, right? Like just not like, hey, yeah, it's all right. We'll fucking figure it out. Everything's going to be great. Because that's typically me, right? Now, so going back to early on is like I would have a lot of these situations where, again, knowing now that I know these things, right? Back then, I was not very conscious. I was conscious that I was affecting people negatively, right? But I wasn't as conscious. Like I didn't really realize I didn't really see the degree of it, right? Like the degree of how I was affecting people with my anger and my violence and not being in control, right? Just being out of control. Even so, like so many times, like it's been kind of crazy that I haven't been put, like I've been put in handcuffs and I've had police draw their weapons on me, and it's just been fucking crazy. Like, there's been a few situations like that where I'm pretty surprised, and I'm not surprised. I know there's a reason why I'm here, and there's a blessing, in this somewhere that I haven't, ended up in something like that or behind jail or in bars or, or worse off. But fast forward a couple years, I've realized that these were cyclical patterns. There were patterns that kept repeating themselves, right? So putting my hands on my girlfriends or putting my hands on my significant others or whatever in relationships or just being physical was something that kept coming up. And up until like, with my other half, my forever best friend, it was with her too, like early on. And then we got into certain situations where, again, the police were involved. And then so these cyclical situations kept repeating themselves, and more, like I just became, I guess, more aware of like, I guess other people's emotions, feelings, and then like the severity of the situations that we were in, right? Like going to jail, being arrested, potentially hurting someone really bad. Like if someone would have hit their head and not made it and woke up or not woken up, like So these certain like situations that are extreme, right? For some people they're extreme. Of course they're extreme. Um, those gave me, and what I know to be now is just a raised level of awareness, a raised level of consciousness. And I think that at the end of the day, everyone throughout their human life, throughout their progression in here in this world, it's like those are the things that get you to a better situation or a better outcome. It's like raised consciousness, like a raised awareness of certain situations or all situations, right? Like if you can have that, like it's a mastery of like being very conscious or 100% conscious of everything that you're feeling, everything that you're doing at this exact time. You know, now I'm sure you can get there. I'm sure there's practice, but even for me, I still, case in point right now, like I know in my situations right now, it's like what I need to do is work on focusing the thoughts or what I'm thinking on, either shutting down the thoughts, right? Because like thoughts you can stop thinking and just be really focused on what's happening right now. Like even right now, like I'm focused on making my point, telling the story and speaking to whoever's listening, you, versus like the thoughts that I had a couple hours ago or yesterday, because those thoughts were definitely leading me to just, I don't know, I guess anger and just anger and resentment of just like not being happy, right? Just not being happy. So again, it's just figuring out, like it's putting it into practice. So like by being able to take myself out of this and actually being in the moment here and stop thinking about all these future events of just like, I'm not going to be successful. I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to close another deal. I'm not going to make money. Like all these fucking thoughts. It's just like even doing this is helping, right? So I would say if you're in certain situations, I would say a couple things. Here's what I would say, and we'll finish this one up. If you find yourself in certain situations of not feeling happy or just being in that, like in the null, right, in the lull or whatever you want to call it, not the high point of this trajectory of life, I would say just give yourself the ability to be conscious of it, raise the awareness, and understand that like you got to do something else, or you got to either try to stop thinking of these thoughts and put yourself in the present, or do something else to get these thoughts out of there, or think of something else, right? Like prompt questions. Sometimes I ask myself like, well, I've been in worse situations before and we've done it, right? Like, so like, how can I really be so upset right now or think of myself as such a failure if I've been in worse situations before and I'm doing a lot better, even though, like, even though my reference is last year, even though my reference is like, a couple of months ago, right? But so sometimes I feel like instead of looking forward and being like, look what you don't have yet, you become present of like, wow, this is what I have. And then look behind me and be like, oh shit, yeah, that's where I was. That's where I was. So I would just leave you with that and keep crushing it. Keep crushing it. And if you have somebody to reach out to, or if you don't have somebody to reach out, feel free to reach out. But, having a support, like even just one person to support, my other half right before we started came in and she shared with me how she's feeling based on, like on how I like what's happening. She's like, I just, I've never seen it. She said she described it as like watching Superman die. So that's if that's a visual for you, that's kind of what she's feeling based on what she's seeing me at this present moment, which is kind of crazy, because I don't want to be the Superman dies. But then I said, didn't Superman like go away for a little bit and then came back? So, and I feel like that's it. It's like sometimes you just need to get away for a minute, unplug, and put yourself in these situations where you stop thinking of the things that are making you feel a certain way, right? Because remember, those things are your influences. Those influences then affect your thoughts. Those are your that's what you're thinking. Those are your thoughts. And then those thoughts create an action or drive an action, drive a decision. And those decisions equal an outcome. So like even today when I was upset, like I was at this lunch thing, I was also filming for one of the members, and I just wasn't in a good mood. And like instead of trying to get myself out of the good mood. I was just like, I lived in it. And then I was also like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna let them know I'm just not in the mood today. And even though like part of me, I'm like, sometimes you just have to be, I don't want to say vulnerable, but I feel like you just have to be true about like how the fuck you're feeling. Right. Because like if I always put on the Wilson show or like hey, no, everything's cool, man, super fucking zen, dude, don't worry about it. Like sometimes I feel like people that aren't or don't have the consciousness or aren't as aware of like, the other person in these situations in terms of like reading the body language or just kind of like reading or even just asking like, they sometimes will just not understand that, they just won't. And then it's like everything else is just easy peasy where it's like, nah, man, I'm not in the mood, And I think I came off kind of fucking rough, like I came off kind of mad and angry, but I don't know. I guess that's it. Those are things to think about. I wish you a good day. I wish you, just remember if you are feeling down and upset, I'm right there with you. And this is honestly doing this, as you can hear me laugh. It's like this is the first time I've actually, in a couple days, had a genuine laugh. So thank you for listening and thank you for being there. And and likewise, you always have somebody here. You always have somebody that you can reach out to. So have a great day. If you're feeling not happy, try to be conscious of it. Understand, ask yourself, what do I need to do? Put yourself out of it. Try to stop those thoughts because you're most likely thinking of things in the future or things in the past that are pissing you off, or you're thinking that you're not good enough or whatever it is. But really, just be present now. Ask yourself, is there anything wrong with me right now? Where was I before? Where was I 6 months ago? And was it worse? Or am I better off now? And most likely, most of the time, the answer is going to be yes. So just keep at it. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon, and just remember, nothing changes until you do. My name is Wilson, and we'll see you on the next one.